Hi everyone, it's Nichol Spohr and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be creating some really fun distress holiday backgrounds and accents using Tim Holtz's brand new limited edition holiday products from Ranger. This is going to be 6 mica stains, a couple of distress glitters. I'm only going to be using one, some distress grit paste, and some distress crackle paste. These are all exclusive colors. Here's a look at how they come. I am going to be opening them up and we're going to use just about everything. Like I said, I only used one of the 2 glitters, but otherwise I used all of these new products for 4 different backgrounds, accents, all of the good stuff. Now these are gorgeous. These are going to be a little bit smaller than the regular distress sprays that you might already own. So instead of I think almost 2 fluid ounces is what the distress sprays are, these distress mica stains are 1 ounce. If you got the holiday and the Halloween, I don't know if you saw Tim's video, but he shows that it creates a rainbow. That was a selling point for me. I thought that was so cool. I actually went and ordered the Halloween ones, so I cannot wait to get those and do some other fun things. I have a box here and I am using the winter berry and then the peppermint stick distress mica stains for these poinsettias. This is a Hero Arts die set. You're going to notice in today's video that I'm mixing and matching a lot of different companies, products, embossing folders, stencils, dies, all of that good stuff to create my cards. I really love being able to mix and match product. It's probably my most favorite thing to do, to mix and match and create your one-of-a-kind design. So these dies have been out for maybe a year or 2 now. I can't exactly remember. Any poinsettia die is going to be beautiful, but I really like the look of this pearlescent type of poinsettia leaf. So I use these 2 colors. Like I said, I used winterberry and peppermint stick, and I am simply spraying my petals, and then I dried them with my heat tool to kind of see if I needed to add any more color, and I ended up adding a little bit more peppermint stick. I noticed I'd missed a couple of areas, so I went ahead and sprayed them again. Now over on the right you can see the ones that have dried. I did die cut a few more, spritzed them, sprayed them, and then I'm drying them, maybe not all of the way, but probably 90% of the way, and then I'm going to let them finish drying while I spray some other things. So pretty, and honestly, I love these poinsettias. I'd like to make maybe some home decor things with some larger florals doing this technique because the color you get is stunning. It's got that like pearlized look to it from the mica. It's just gorgeous. You can add as much or as little color as you want. I will show you some or a example of using a little bit lighter stain for a background here in a minute. Now for the petals, we are going to use the 2 green colors that come in these 2 sets of 3. That's going to be Holly Branch and Tree Lot. Oh my goodness, you guys, I love them. So in addition to the leaves for the Hero Arts poinsettia, this Simon Says Stamp Christmas tree is a set of 3 dies that layer together to make a tree that looks really, really dimensional. Well, I thought a Christmas tree in these 2 mica stains would be stunning. So we're again going to use Holly Branch and Tree Lot, and I'm going to mix them. I'm going to put down some color. I'll probably put down more color with the other. So I did start with Holly Branch, which is going to be a little bit, I don't know, it almost has like a gold tint to it when dry. And then Tree Lot's going to be a little bit darker. That's the color I'm laying down now. You're going to notice that I'll just go back and forth with these colors. I want there to be a nice mix on all of the pieces. So here are the rest of the tree pieces for that Simon Says Stamp set. And again, the mica stains here are Holly Branch and Tree Lot. I have to admit, these might be my 2 favorite. The greens are amazing. And then paired with the red, so pretty. And you can dry them. You're going to see I'm going to hit them with my heat tool. I noticed I missed a few spots. You're going to notice that a few of the leaves on my trees are a little sparse. I really wanted it to be super green, so I'm going to go back in with Tree Lot and add some extra color. I accidentally spilled some of the mica stain on my finger. If you're wondering why my finger is all red, don't be me. That was my fault for over shaking it. Definitely check out Tim's video for explanations on how to shake it correctly. I know better, but I did it anyway and made a mess. You can see I added a little bit extra dark color. I'm going to dry that. In real life, I really think you can see the two-tone, and when I put the tree together here in a little bit, hopefully you can definitely see all those different colors. I just love these tree pieces. So pretty. And then of course the leaves are going to look amazing with the poinsettia. Next, I'm going to prep a background with some grit paste. So this is the Distress Grit Paste. I'm going to take the Waffle Flower Snowflake background stencil, and I am going to stencil this with the grit paste on some watercolor cardstock, and I'm going to do that now so that it has time to completely dry. Now I will tell you that I started out thinking maybe I would just do a little section of the snowflakes, but I think I did too much for a small section. And so when I lifted the stencil off, it just looked kind of incomplete. So I ended up very, very carefully laying my stencil back in place, and I did the whole background. I really like complete backgrounds like this, and when we spray it, you're going to see it looks amazing. So I'm simply just prepping this. This needs time to air dry. You don't want to heat this with a heat tool. So I am going to, you can see I'm going to carefully put my stencil back, hoping I don't mess it up. This actually worked, so I was pleasantly surprised. So we're just going to finish that off. The grit paste is going to give a fantastic texture to this background. We're going to set that aside to dry while we work on some other things. This whole project of playing with these new products, the mica stains, glitters, crackle paste, and grit paste, was more of kind of creating a bunch of elements and then figuring out cards to make with them. This is the Simon Says Stamp Filigree Snowflake Embossing Folder. this is going to create some beautiful embossed snowflakes in the background. I didn't know if it was quite I didn't know if it embossed that well, so I did run it through again. But then I'm going to lay it in the box, and we are going to use some blue shades. So I am actually using Snow Flurries, and then I opted to, instead of using any more mica stains, I'm going to use the Distress Oxide spray in Prize Ribbon. That deep dark blue, you guys, looks amazing with the Snow Flurries Distress Mica stain, I think. And this background is so just blue and bright blue and so beautiful. Now I felt like I didn't really want to add more of the stain or the distress spray. So I actually spritzed water. I think I just used a little mini mister there. You can use your distress sprayer as well to kind of get the stain and the spray moving. And then I'm going to start heating it. And we're going to heat and heat. I left that darker spot up at the top just kind of for fun, but we're going to heat this pretty well all the way to dry. So you can see how the watercolor cardstock curled up, but as it starts to dry, it's going to flatten back out. That's what we want. And this is going to give me a good idea of the areas that maybe need a little bit more of the mica stain. So we're going to do more snow flurries here. I'm going to make sure it's good and mixed up, that all those mica flakes in the bottom are mixed up into this before I spritz. And then we're going to go around the panel and add just a little bit more of this blue color. And I love how this looks on an embossed background. So if you've got some really fun embossing folders, this is a fantastic way to add a lot of fun color to a background. This is one example. I'm going to do another example next with another Simon Says Stamp embossing folder. I found that I really loved this look for the background as well. I spritzed this with a little water after I dried it, and then I'm just dabbing up those water droplets with a dry rag for those oxidation little spots throughout. I'm going to add just a few more, I think. Look at that embossing folder though. How pretty is this? Sometimes it is just so fun to play and just try different things. So this is the Holiday Greenery embossing folder from Simon Says Stamp. And because I like the snow flurries so much, I decided to use Holly Branch and Tree Lot Distress Mica stains for this background. Lots and lots of green here. We're gonna fill the entire background. And this is gonna be the background that we end up using for the poinsettia. I really like the red on green here. So pretty. And then we're gonna dry it. You're gonna notice there's some light areas. I don't want that. I want the whole background to be green, those two different shades. Now, I started with these two shades, and there is one color that I have not used yet. And it was a surprise for me, but the Frosted Juniper is gorgeous. And we're actually going to kind of dab up some of the little water spots and things on our background. And I ended up taking Frosted Juniper, and we're gonna add some of that to this background. I'm actually adding more Tree Lot right now to fill in those light areas. So let's go ahead and do that and then dry it. But the Frosted Juniper obviously has maybe a little bit more bluish tint to it, which you'll see here in a minute. You're going to see it a lot more in the background where I just use Frosted Juniper, but it's going to add some really fun different detail to the background of this embossing folder. So that is what we're going to do next. I'm going to go ahead and actually, I think I added a little bit more green. I really kept adding and adding to this one. I wanted the whole background to be green before I added that on. And then I found it just worked best for me if I would dry between each addition. So I think here's where I'm taking Frosted Juniper. It is. You can kind of see the bluish tint to it. It doesn't look like it much now. As it's wet, it kind of blends into the green. But when this dries, there are going to be some lighter areas that you see that bluish green tint to. And I really, really like this for the background. In real life, it looks amazing. And you can already see the shimmer as the mica stains start to dry. It just is so elegant. This was a very, very fun day of just playing with product and creating some really fun things that ended up working well together. I created a bunch of stuff and then I tried to find ways to turn it all into cards. Look at those little Frosted Juniper areas. Aren't those pretty? Love, love, love this. So there is another background. So we really have just two backgrounds completed right now, the embossing folder backgrounds. Now, it looks like my grit paste snowflakes is dry. So we're gonna have a little fun. We're gonna go in and we are going to start adding our sprays. I did add Frosted Juniper. I'm going to add a little water here. I have to say that I started this and then I realized, oh, don't dry it. That's bad because I have grit paste on here. I added the Frosted Juniper, I added a little water to get a little more movement. And then I decided I don't know that I want to do Frosted Juniper. I wasn't loving it. You know what I mean? So we're actually going to go in with a little bit of Snow Flurries. And then also the Distress Oxide Spray and Prize Ribbon again. And we're going to add these colors. And at first I was like, I completely ruined this background. I hate it. But I just kept playing. Keep adding color. You can often fix things like this. And I left it in the video because I think it's really important to see how we get to the final step. So I added all of that. Now I have just a regular piece of watercolor cardstock. I added water first, and then I added a little bit of the Frosted Juniper. And then I'm going to add a little bit more water and I'm going to dry it. So I made sure I didn't want this to be perfect. I wanted it to be kind of imperfect. Look how pretty that background is. I absolutely love Frosted Juniper. So this is going to be a little bit different background. We started with a mica stain and now we're going to take Distress Crackle paste in Icicle. This is that limited edition color. And I'm using a palette knife and just kind of, for lack of a better term, slopping it on. I know when Tim talks about his Crackle paste, he says the thicker the better. I had such a hard time putting a thick coat on here. I do think that the Crackle probably would have been a lot more prominent had I, but I tried to leave some heavier areas, maybe some lighter areas, and I didn't want it to be perfect. Again, I want it to really mimic the mica stain of the background. Now this step here is going to take a while to dry. I wish I would have started with this one first because I literally had to come back maybe 2 hours later to finish this. I'm not exactly sure how long it took to dry. I'm going to kind of leave it in camera for parts of it just so you can start to see it dry maybe a little bit, but it by far took the longest time of anything, and all you can do is really just sit and let it dry. My poinsettias, however, are completely dry, so I'm bending up the leaves on the die cut kind of score line there, adding some glossy accents to the tips of my poinsettia, and then I'm going to add the Distress Glitter in tinsel to the edges. And this is going to give us a very glittery snowflake. I love glittered snowflake. Poinsettia, I'm so sorry you guys, misspoke. I love glittered poinsettias. We're going to glitter the leaves a little bit. I just don't want them to be all the way glittered. I want the tips to be glittered. This color is probably my favorite of the two. You get tinsel and then you also get garland. They're both super pretty though. But I had glitter everywhere. I really maybe need to adopt Tim's mentality of glitter being an outside activity because I think I was all glittery, my studio is all glittery, and it's not my favorite. Okay, I'm gonna let the glitter dry, and then over my snowflakes, that filigree snowflakes embossing folder background, I'm actually taking the Simon Says Stamp Snowflakes stencil, and we're using the other product that comes with the Crackle glaze, and this is the Distressed Grit Paste in Snowfall. Now Snowfall is going to go on, you can see it's going on pretty white, but it is going to dry translucent, giving us some awesome snowflakes in the background. So they're not going to stay white like this, they're going to blend into the background, but they really add some fun texture. So this background has loads of texture. It has the embossing folder, it's got this stenciled grit paste over the top. So when this dries, it's really, really awesome. Again, I was completely playing. Okay, backgrounds are done. Look at that crackle, you guys, of the beautiful Crackle paste. I love this. I think it is amazing. You can see how flexible it is. I had no idea. I don't think I've used Tim's Crackle paste before. I love it. I really had a blast playing with these products. I'm going to build my tree here. So this card is going to be that frosted juniper is the background for my Christmas tree. This is that leafy Christmas tree from Simon Says Stamp. I'm layering the trees kind of in the center of my background panel. And because of that Crackle paste, it's a little bit glossy in the back, and so I was kind of able to have a little bit of time to move my tree around before it dried, the liquid glue dried all the way. And then I've got these sentiment strips from Simon Says Stamp. They're going to make an appearance on pretty much all of my cards here. I think all of them. And then I'm decorating the tree. So I started out with these pretty pink Posh jewels. These are the metallic ones, and I'm going to add them. They're kind of my, like the Christmas bulbs on the tree. This was one card, well, all of them really, but I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to decorate it. I knew I wanted to use the tree. I love the mica stain on it. I love how it was all, you know, pearlized and just looks beautiful, but it needs decorated. And without any red on it, which I didn't want to add red, I was afraid I wasn't going to love this tree. So I'm going to kind of talk you through what I did. I used these pretty pink Posh jewels first, and I love the gold. I think the gold with the frosted juniper and then the two colors, the holly branch and tree lot mica stains for the tree are really pretty, but it needs something else. So I added quite a few of these, and I was like, yeah, the tree's looking pretty good, but it needs something. It's kind of more of a rustic design. So I ended up going back, and from Lucy's Little Things, I'm going to take the matte gold star confetti, and we're going to add little stars throughout. And then probably the thing that ties it all together are these white Trinity Stamps vanilla sugar snowflakes. And I ended up loving this mix, because to me this really gives a full decorated tree, and I ended up really loving this card. I think it's, like I said, more rustic, more masculine. It's a really, really fun Christmas card. Maybe the traditional reds and bright greens and things are not for you. This is a really fun option. And like I said, I was really afraid because I loved everything. And then when I started decorating, I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. And by the time I added plenty of these 3 embellishments to my tree and really filled it in, I ended up loving this. And I think I'm going to tip it here in a minute, but when I tip it to the light and you see all of that shimmer and shine, and then the glitter, or not glitter, but the glimmer of the jewels and the confetti and stuff, and then of course the mica stains, oh my gosh, it's so pretty in real life. Really, really love this one. Just gonna add all of these little touches, filling up my tree. It's just like with real Christmas tree decorating. You start out with a few and then you just keep filling it. Oh, look at that shine. Isn't that pretty? Or the shimmer, I guess I should say. I love it. Okay, our next background is that embossing folder background I was talking about. And I've got a joyful die cut from Simon Says Stamp. I have really just kind of mixed and matched. I pulled a whole bunch of things. We're going to do this gold joyful. This is some Hero Arts gold glitter cardstock. We're going to mat it on the black shadow. We're actually going to add 3 of these sentiment strips from Simon Says Stamp, and then we're going to assemble and glue our poinsettias in place. And you guys, these are stunning. There is just no other word for it. Poinsettias with mica stain. Oh my goodness. And glitter. I am a fan. And they are very sturdy once I assembled them. Really love these. So we're just gonna add our sentiment first because I want to glue that right down to the card, and then I want to assemble my poinsettias. These do have a little dimension because I folded the leaves, I have folded the poinsettias, and then when I put them together, I intentionally only added glue in the center of the flowers, and then at the very, like, the little stem part of the leaves, and tuck that under so that the flowers would not be flat to the card. I hope that makes sense. You can see I'm using some tweezers to help hold them in place and hold them together as the glue dries. Now I kind of played around with my sentiments, trying to figure out the perfect sentiment mix. I started with joyful, and then the sentiment I originally was going to use was too long. I didn't want it to cover up the tail of the letter J or Y, so I ended up using May Your Holiday Be Bright, which I like, but there's a lot of space down low, and I felt like it needed something, so I actually ended up adding 3 of these sentiment strips, and I really like that best. Now, I didn't use the coordinating die piece that goes with the poinsettia. Instead, we are going to fill the center of our poinsettia with these little Pretty Pink Posh metallic jewels. Lots of dimension today. Sometimes I go in phases where I do kind of flatter one layer designs, but not today. Lots and lots of dimension and lots of texture. I love that the gold glitter of that cardstock just ties in so nicely to the glitter on the poinsettia and the leaves. And you can really see the frosted juniper bits in the background as well. So we're just going to take our jewels. I did more in the bigger poinsettia than the smaller one. I think I did about 5 in the big, 3 in the small. And that really is it for our joyful poinsettia card. We have our snowflake cards left. So we've got a tree, we've got poinsettias, and then all of the snowflakes. So we're gonna start, I think I started with the big snowflake background first. So this has the frosted juniper snow flurries, pardon me, and then the Prize Ribbon Distress Oxide spray. That's what we have here over the grit paste background. So you can still see the snowflakes, but it has that beautiful mica stain and Distress Oxide background. I put a big snowflake right in the center. This is the Waffle Flower Snowflake die. I die cut it from silver holographic cardstock. I love the silver here. Again, lots of texture, lots of shine. And then I put a sentiment strip in the center, and then very, very simply, I am adding some Honeybee Stamps Crystal Prism Jewels to my snowflake. So they're kind of hard to see, but when I tip the card, you're going to see the texture to the snowflake, and I'll even add a few to the background, like to the center of some of those snowflakes, but it really adds so much to the design. I really love that look. There you can kind of see it a little bit better. Okay, our final snowflake background. I did trim this one down to a thinner strip, and then I'm mounting it on a background panel of holographic cardstock die cut with the Simon Says stamp scallop stitches. So it's going to be a panel down the center of our card, and what I love is that the silver holographic sides are going to tie into our silver holographic sentiment. So the peace, love, hope, and joy sentiment is also a Simon Says stamp die. This is a Stamp Timber sentiment. But this scallop stitches has been out for a while, and I love it. There you can see the texture. That is the Snowfall grit paste. So remember, it went on kind of white, but when it dried, it gives you more texture rather than white snowflakes, which is what I want, because I still want the embossing of that embossing folder to show through. I just want it to have that snowflake texture as well, which when I kind of turn it to the side, you'll be able to see it a little more. Lots of layers. So many layers today. I love it though. So there it is on a fog cardstock background, a little sentiment strip, some jewels or gems in the center of the snowflakes. I am going to show you each of the card backgrounds now and show you the products I used. So for this big snowflake background, you can see the grit paste there. I hope you can kind of see the texture. I accidentally got some blue ink on the side. I need to take a sand eraser and remove that. So for that one, that is the Frosted Juniper, Snow Flurries, and Prize Ribbon. Those are the sprays, either the stains or the spray I used, as well as the white opaque grit paste. For our next snowflake background, the colors I used are Snow Flurries and the mica stain, and then of course the Distress Oxide spray and Prize Ribbon, and the Distress grit paste in Snowfall. And then I'll hold it up so you can really see the texture. So pretty. And also that shimmer of the mica stains. Isn't that pretty? Our poinsettia background is going to be holly branch and tree lot with a little frosted juniper. The poinsettia is actually winterberry and peppermint stick. And then we have the beautiful tinsel distress glitter on the edges of our poinsettia petals and leaves. Again, lots of shimmer and shine, lots of texture. Finally, we have our frosted juniper background with that layer of icicle crackle paste. And that's that crackle. Hopefully I hold it up. Yeah, there you can kind of see that in the background. Isn't that amazing? It looks so icy. I love that. And then our tree is the Distress mica stains in holly branch and tree lot. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video card showcase featuring the Tim Holtz Distress Holiday Ranger products. The supplies I use to create my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here is another video featuring some distress products that you might be interested in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell to never miss a new card making video. As always, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I appreciate you all so much. Have a great day, and we will see you next time.